river just appeared out of nowhere in Saudi Arabia, fulfilling a 2,500-year-old Bible prophecy. Stick around, this video is going to blow your mind. In the Bible, God said this, Isaiah 41 verse 18, I will open up the rivers for them on the high plateaus. I will give them fountains of water in the valleys. I will fill the desert with pools of water. Rivers fed by springs will flow across the parched ground. Just recently, this river exploded from out of nowhere, fulfilling that Bible prophecy. This is just one of many Bible prophecies being fulfilled right now. If you believe the Bible is true, I want you to subscribe or follow now.
First, let's establish that a river didn't just appear out of nowhere in Saudi Arabia. But although most people understand that Saudi Arabia is a desert, deserts do have rain seasons. And almost every year during the rain seasons, rivers, lakes, they all suddenly appear in Saudi Arabia during this time frame. It also happens in any other desert, like the Kalahari, the deserts of Israel, the deserts in California. It happens. It happened in Las Vegas, got flooded once because very strong rains will create a lot of rivers and lakes and flooding simply because the ground is not built to absorb that water. So this all of a sudden flooding, rivers appearing in Saudi Arabia has absolutely nothing to do with your Bible. It also has absolutely nothing to do with your Bible because it happened in Saudi Arabia and it did not happen in Israel. And he quoted the text from Isaiah 41, which is a prophecy that was written. First of all, it wasn't written 2,500 years ago. It was written in and around the 2nd century. It's part of the Deutero-Isaiah writings because Isaiah did not write all of the book of Isaiah, but this portion was written in the 2nd century. Now, 2nd century, who was in control of Israel during the 2nd century? The Romans. So this is not written about concerning the Babylonian exiles. This was written because they were under the control of the Romans, and the Romans had displaced and or sold many of the Jewish people into slavery when they conquered Judea. So it's not even talking about the Babylonian exile, so it wasn't 2,500 years ago. It's more like 2,100, 2,200 years ago. And it's not a prophecy about today. It was a prophecy about them coming often under the Roman rule, to which many of their prophecies are, but they just backdated to the prophet Isaiah, who in the first few chapters of Isaiah was writing during the Babylonian captivity, and that would be 2,500 years ago. But by the time we get to verse 41, we're talking under the Roman rule, and they've already went through the rule of the Greeks. This is why there are a lot of prophecies throughout Isaiah that talks about God freeing and alleviating and bringing glory to the Israelis for their faithfulness after being in captivity, because during this time frame, like much of the entire time frame of the Israelites, they were conquered by the Assyrians, they were conquered by the Babylonians, and then the Persians, and they were conquered by, they was also conquered by the Egyptians, and then they was conquered by the Greeks, and in this time frame they're conquered by the Romans. So this is talking about the rivers coming and the waters flowing in the pools happening in Israel. And this creator is just trying to use anything that he possibly can to hype up Christians to believe that revelations is happening right now, that prophecies are being fulfilled right now. And none of these prophecies have been fulfilled, nor will they be fulfilled. So this is a bunch of bull, is literally what it is. And for him to do that is just to heighten people up and get them in that fear state of this God, because this is not what that Isaiah was talking about. So first of all, it had to be happening in Israel, not in Saudi Arabia. But this was supposed to happen when they came often under Roman control. And these are the types of prophecies that Christians adopt from Isaiah to add to Jesus. But Jesus didn't free them out of Roman control. Actually, it was a Muslim who freed them out of Roman control, and it wasn't a Christian at all who freed Jerusalem from Roman control. And at no time did all the springs and wells and all that stuff came up. And we haven't even seen that since the state of Israel was created after World War II. It still hasn't happened. So your God is a liar. The book is a liar. The book is basically designed, Isaiah is basically designed to give people who are under someone else's control a level of hope, a level of, I know that this time frame will end and we'll have our freedom and we'll be self-governing and our God is going to make it happen. So it's really just about hoping for the future, but that future has never come and most likely never will come. It also talks about somebody who will come from the north and try to conquer them, and then they will have their false gods and this sort of thing. And nobody came from the north to alleviate them. They actually came from the southwest, the Muslims, to alleviate Roman control of Judea, but put them under, Islamic control. So this, like I said before, this guy is just using very inaccurate information to try to hype people up. And this is why we have to go through this book to always reaffirm with ourselves at how flawed this book is and how this God is just a made up God for these people who was in a desperate situation, families being broken apart, people being sold into slavery, people being murdered. So they just needed some hope, just like any oppressed people would want and desire hope. And so they create mythological stories, especially back then, based on their gods that they're going to alleviate them. And even today, when black people went through segregation, Jim Crow, it was a lot of God-based things that black people were using to say we're going to be alleviated. For the 1804's Haitian Revolution, they went back to the Orishas. People have always looked for some outside deity to alleviate them, but at the end of the day, it is your own self that alleviates whatever suffering you're going through. It is not something from the outside, but it is all from the inside that would alleviate any situation that you are dealing with. Because once you realize that you have the power and it's up to you, then you can manifest and create whatever it is you desire. So y'all have a great day, and remember always, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.